almost thought about getting it.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
What?
Well, he had like 6 layers on, and then he's like, or this.
Yeah, because he's trying to sell you on his bullshit.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
don't
saying.
get that cold.
I buy that hoodie. I'm still.
It almost
wearing
worked.
the same shirt right now.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
The white. Yeah.
And we can talk about the name too. Probably have to talk about the name. Did you see the name that I put in the group?
Climbing and the other
Rock climbing and other things in the world, because it'll be everything else.
I like climbing, dining, and everything else.
Climbing, dining, and everything else.
It's just kind of sweet.
That's what I like too. I like if it goes good together.
Okay, climbing, dining, and everything else.
Yeah.
It's subject to change. So this is our first guest, Chase Martinez, and without further ado, let's give Chase a nice with no ado.
With no ado.
No ado. Chase Martinez.
Chase Martinez, welcome.
Bring him up.
Come on up.
Hi guys, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Fine.
Looking good. Glad you dressed up.
I know me and Frank are wearing the same shirt.
Yeah, unintentional, but the drip goes hard. So.
It is kind of cold in here though.
You got a
I'll
blanket.
get you back on if you need
I'm
it.
ready.
Alright, Chase, just how cheeky are you?
Double cheeked.
Double cheeked up on a Friday, dude.
On a Friday afternoon, hella ass. Too many cheeks if you ask me.
Yeah.
Red cheeks.
Spindrift and Celsius unofficial sponsors. So
We wish.
shout out to them. So how you doing?
Good. How
How
are
was
you
your
guys?
day? Doing good.
It's good. I
Scraped some glue at the gym today.
do what I always do. I work, because I'm a contributing member to society.
So what did you do today?
Don't do
He
that.
still looks at Nick.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Nick is a contributor. He contributes to stuff.
Nick contributes
I'm a
more than
member
I
of
ever
society.
have. He's like, I am just a functioning member of society.
Yeah, I'm not a contributor. I'm a society.
Wait. So what do you do? What do you do nowadays?
Do-
Travel.
Yeah, I do contracting for global tourism groups.
All right. So what does that mean?
So, like, if somebody wants to go on a trip to Yellowstone National Park, they always need a place to stay. So I reach out to the properties, get the room secured.
So they call you guys, and then
Well,
they're like,
technically
"Hey, we want to go here. Can you guys set it up?"
Yeah, pretty much we contract for the tourism groups. So they'll come to us and say, hey, like, here's a list of dates that we need. Like, find us a property under this budget, and then get the room secured. So we secure the rooms, and then I get 10% of each room. Typically.
Sick.
7% if it's Marriott or Hilton, but they suck. So
Nice.
And tell me how that's any better than route setting.
It has upward mobility. It has upward mobility. You want to come in on that? You want to come in a little
I
bit?
can tell you it is infinitely more financially stable.
Oh
than
yeah,
route
no,
setting.
honestly, that's true.
But route setting at SEC?
Yeah, I loved rat setting SEC.
Did you tell us the
like
truth?
working 2 days
Tell
a
us the
week?
truth. What was the worst? You can't get fired, obviously. So like, you're always going to be our friend.
What was
so
the worst part?
Yeah.
Free agent.
The worst part was sometimes you're like a complete hero and everybody loves you, and then the next day you're just like this biggest piece of
crap
shit
on.
ever. Everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you said this? I can't even believe you said this is so bad." And it's like a bullet you spent 3.5 hours for running, and you're like, "Oh, I like it." And they're like,
Yeah.
"We hate it."
I think that's a good part, though. It's kind of nice when you're the villain.
It's good
nice to
because
be
it's like-
yeah, you can't do that.
I think that's why I would sandbag too. Like I'd be like, "Oh, this is a V5 crimp line." I'd be like, "There's no chance this climb is V5." Just so people would be like,
well,
I can't believe you guys said this. It's
That's
like,
the problem, though.
Keep talking that
You're
crap.
kind
You're
of
gonna get it.
you're a sandbagger. You can admit it now.
Yeah, that's because climbing grades are irrelevant.
But if say you set a V7, you put an 8 tag on it, it becomes like 3 people's first 8. Then they love you.
Yeah, but I don't want people to succeed and get it easy. I want them to, because I had to earn it, so I want everybody else to earn it.
Did you? Actually, this is a great place to
Yeah,
start the
okay,
conversation.
perfect, let's start it.
Because what year did you start climbing?
Like 2016 or 2017.
Okay, so and when did you start taking it seriously?
Well, I went on a field trip, and then I would go to SEC like 3 or 4 days a week and buy like day passes until Chris Cannell forced me to buy membership.
Shout out to Chris.
So it was, yeah, honestly. So it was like, I don't know, probably like I took it serious like pretty quick because like I was pretty decent off the bat. Like I climbed like V4 like the first time I ever climbed. And so I was like, okay, like this could be something that like I feel like there's I think that everybody has something that they're inherently good at. You just have to find out what it is. And like I was 5'3" in high school, so I loved basketball. No chance I was gonna be a basketball player. Like I didn't like wrestling very much, and so when I started climbing, I found out I was good at it. I was like, this is my calling.
That's your stuff. So you start in 2017-ish, roughly, and then when were you like? I mean, the B4 probably didn't convince you, but when were you like, I'm actually really good at this?
I think it was like when I climbed when I told myself I was really good at this.
Like what was your first like? You were climbing V8 like within the year, right?
Yeah, I climbed like V10 within like the first year of climbing. I did the Nickness.
Oh, like actual V10.
Yeah, like outside V10.
Like hard 10.
Yeah, and I think that like back then V10 was like a high end grade versus now where it's like if you don't climb V10, you're basically like, oh, you're just a regular dude.
That's still a high end 10 though, even by today's standards. All right, so first year V10, like hard 10, and then so like where do like the aspirations start settling? Like were you like V12 like instantly like I want to do V15 like?
Well, I try to do like my goal when I first started climbing was I wanted to do like a grade a year after 10, and I got to like 14, and then I like burned myself out.
Nice. And how many? How
long did you wrestle before you started climbing?
Oh yeah, you wrestled.
I wrestled my freshman year through junior year.
Do you think that helped you?
I think that it's really good for like your upper body strength. I think it's like when you're obviously like trying to throw another human being around, it makes like your upper body. But like I wasn't big, but I benched like the highest I ever benched when I was a wrestler. So I think it's
what
like
was that?
I benched 135 when I was in high school, and I was like 100 pounds.
It's like twice your weight.
Yeah, and I can't bench 135 now. It's like I don't know how I did that, but I think it's just because like you're just so used to. Like I think that's why it's like I just wanted to grab things and just like grab things as hard as I could. And it's like that's because that's how I used to wrestle. Like I would just like grab people's arms and be like I want to break an arm.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, so you tapped out at B14. How many B14s have you done?
I don't know, probably like 6.
Nice. And your favorite 14, Penrose Step.
Yeah.
Penrose Step. And that's because you almost died, or?
Yeah, that's because Nick was there.
Oh yeah, Nick was there.
He had no chance of dying there.
Straight up, there's a picture of me just like at the top, and Nick's just like there, and I'm like, if I died right, like if I just chopped off, Nick would be like, and just set me on the path.
Best person in the world to spot.
It's amazing.
No matter what happens, I got you.
Tell us about your bad finger injury when you were working Shatner Sit Start project. And you blew up your pinky.
Oh, wait a second, man. Can you say that you did Shatner?
No, I'm not going to say it.
He did Shatner Sit.
Yeah, it's V8.
You're such a weenie.
No, because it's like, I feel like it's cool, but, you know, there's other people that have worked a lot of sessions into it, so I don't want to be like, oh my god, everybody should go try this boulder, because there's a lot of people I think that put more time into it or deserve to do it before. Because, like, if I call it any grade that's, like, a high-end grade, it's going to get a lot of attention from people up north.
Yeah.
And people up north will, like, come down in droves.
And now it's on this podcast, so I mean, it's going to reach a huge
and now
audience.
it's going to be
people from all over the world.
It's going to be crazy. I'm going to see Adam Andre out there screaming with that long neck.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good boulder. Okay, so you got it injured on the climb?
Yeah, so there's like, there used to be like a rock on the left hand. It was like a jiggly pebble, and then it fell out. And so it made like an undercling, but it's like kind of like a 2-finger flat one. And so I couldn't figure out how to do like the big span because I was too short. And so the original way I did Shatner was I like blocked off into this 2-finger undercling and then like twisted out.
Which is impossible if you've touched those holds.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm like nowadays look at that and I'm like, I would never do that again. Like I would never even try that. But so like right after I did Shatner, Austin told me he was working the sit. And he was like, don't try it. And I was like, okay. and so like the first session I had on it, I had fallen on like the last left-hand bump move. And I was like I'm bricked. I shouldn't do this. Like I should just rest. And I was like, you know what? Like I'll just give it one more good go from the bottom. And I got into the undercling and I like went to go out right and my pinky got stuck like in this hole. And it just like twisted my pinky and it felt like somebody like shot a can of air down my finger.
A can of air?
Yeah, it felt like it was like like my finger felt like it like got that big and then shrank instantly, and it went ice cold. It went completely numb. And so I was like, oh, like that's not good.
The weirdest way to describe an injury
I've
ever heard.
Well, and I heard it, and I was like, did I just like pop my pulley? And Luke was like, no, you just kicked the rock. You're fine.
Is that your first major finger injury?
Yeah, that was like, I've had like other like sore fingers, but like never anything that bad. So like I knew it was hurt pretty instantly. And the way I found out was I was like, cool, like if I can lock my phone with my just like my thumb and my pinky, like it's fine. And I couldn't apply like any pressure to my finger.
So I was like super injured.
Yeah, so I was like, this is just like not good. I was like, I just sat there and the reality kind of set in. And then I just got like super, like I was just in the trenches at that point. I was just sad. So I went home and I did a bunch of research on it. It was like, you splint it for 14 days, like don't move it. And so I didn't have a splint, so I just like duct taped a house key to my finger so it like wouldn't bend. And then I ended up getting a splint, so I didn't climb for...
Duct taped a house key.
Yeah, I have a picture. It was like a house key duct to my, like taped to my finger, so I couldn't bend my finger.
Bro.
That's so ingenuity.
His last name's Martinez.
So smart, though.
By the way. So that explains
like, that's real ingenuity.
I've done toothpicks before, but never a house key.
Because like, oh, I don't want to bend a toothpick. Like, I'd be like, you know, I don't want to be poked by nothing. It's a house key it was. Yeah. So I rested for 2 weeks, and then I came into the gym one day, and Austin had set this V10, and he was like, you need to try this. And I was like, I literally can't climb. And he was like, well, you work here, don't you? And I was like, I guess. And so he was like, just use your 3 fingers, you'll be fine. And I like, the first time, like, I warmed up for like 15 minutes and tried this climb, and there was like a left hand undercling. And I dry fired off of it, and it just instantly fell on the ground. And he was like, so what do you think? I was like, I think my finger hurts.
So I, like in the beginning, I remember you climbing, and you kind of being like impervious to like any injury. That's what it seemed like. Like you were like repping one arms on like 10 mil edges and stuff like that. Like, did you feel like that, or was there like a point where you're like, I need to start taking care of my body?
Yeah, definitely. Like I probably once I could really start being hungover, that's when like I realized I need to take care of my body. Like, you know, like when you're 21, you drink and you get up the next day and you're like, oh, a little bit of a headache, take an Advil and you're good to go. Like when I was like in bed, just like suffering, I was like, yeah, this is like, we need to be better about this.
Like waking up with cotton mouth.
Yeah, and so I just got tired of my fingers hurting all the time. So that's when, like last year, I really dedicated a lot of time to like looking into like rehab and just doing hangboarding and not resting for 2 weeks and coming into the gym and trying to climb V14 all the time.
So from your perspective, like top 3 things, best things, say somebody's watching that has finger injuries, like we all have finger injuries or some injury, like what are your top 3 go-to things? I know it's not just 3 things, but what would you say, like for you, what works for you? And like top 3, like prevention, and maybe top 3 healing.
Top 3 prevention is that you need to climb crimps. Like you have to get your body adjusted to it.
Prevention, climb crimps.
Yeah, like unless you're injured. Like if you're injured, obviously don't go to your max, but you need to have, like a lot of people will avoid crimps completely when they're injured.
Do you close crimp?
If it's V10 or above. That's my own, like I will full crimp V10 and above, but you will never catch me full crimping on like a V5. I won't do it. Because it's just like, I can see people in the gym and I just see them like grab holes and just death fist it. And I'm just like, you're begging for it. Like you are waiting for an injury.
It's intense.
So for me, what I learned to do is, I learned that the reason my fingers were getting injured was because the impact was too high. My fingers weren't ready for it. So like I would be warming up on a V5 and I'd like jump to a crimp, but my fingers wouldn't be warm. So I got a tension block and I do like a 9-minute warm up on 3 edges. So do 30 seconds per hand on 3 different size edges for 3 minutes apiece. And then that gets your fingers kind of ready for like, because you're pulling like hard. So it gets it ready for that impact. So when you're warming up, it's not like you're bashing your fingers against crimps. Like you're able to like hit them and your fingers aren't cold. Like your tendons and your forearms are both warmed up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. So warm up like that.
Yeah, that's like prevention and injury.
Train on crimps. Was there a third one?
The third one I think would be, I don't know. That's pretty much all I do. It's like I just make sure I have a really, really good warm up, and then I, like, right now I'm climbing crimps exclusively because I got really mad because I couldn't do a crimp move outside, and it like broke my heart. And so I was like, well, it's time to train. And so now I've like only been climbing crimps, and my fingers have never felt like more healthy than right now.
So. Do you have any like dietary things that you do? I mean, aside from like not drinking so much?
Yeah, drinking a lot is not a good idea. It doesn't stop me, but
Dr. Nick, what are your...
That's actually incorrect. Drinking a lot is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I like to have a good time. You know, it's
okay.
So.
But you try, like, if you're gonna work on something, you try to like
Staying hydrated.
lay off.
Yeah. Like you can't just like you can't. I think that beers are good as like a celebratory method and not as like a pre-celebration. Like I try not to drink during the climbing session unless I have a beer in my bag.
We're gonna have to.
Which is most times.
We're gonna have to interview Austin so we can have like a diametrically opposed.
Austin would be like, so
opinion.
actually, beer is actually better for you than water scientifically. I also eat like a bunch of red meat though, and for some reason like that's been able to help me a lot. I don't know why, but I eat steak like probably 3 or 4 times a week.
Wow, and
I
you feel like that helps.
I feel like very good.
Do you have meat with every meal?
Yeah, absolutely. I also weigh like 105 pounds. If I don't eat meat with every meal, like my body will deteriorate.
Do you have carbs?
Yeah, I eat a bunch of pasta. Okay. It's like pasta, rice. Like my main meal, like I go to when I'm hungry, it's like stir-fried vegetables, steak, and pasta, and I eat that almost like all the time. And it's like not super expensive, which is good.
How much do you weigh?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
I gained like weight back recently, so I'm probably like I'm close to 110, I think. Yeah, because I got sick and I lost like 7 pounds, and I lost a bunch of weight in a week, and I was super pissed. So I'm finally gonna come up again, and I started taking like I realized that Fizzy Advantage protein powder has creatine in it, so I've been drinking that like twice a day because it gives you.
You didn't know I had creatine?
No, I didn't, and so now.
So you've been taking creatine all along without realizing.
I guess, yeah, but like, and then I focused on like drinking water. I focused on drinking water, and then I started to put on like a little bit more like muscle mass and weight.
Nice. So is that your goal? Like get a little bit more. I mean, you got that sleeper build.
Yeah, I'm just lean though. I want to be like Drew Wanna's body type. He's like 5'7". I think he's like 125. Like that would be. If I could be 120, that'd be fucking gigantic.
So are you like lifting a lot and doing big workouts?
Yeah, I lift twice a week. So Tuesdays and Fridays are typically my big lift days. Except this week I didn't do anything, which is kind of sad. But yeah, so I'll do like a lot of upper body stuff. I'll do like overhead press, bench, lateral raises, bent over rows, curls, and then I switch between like isometric exercises and like actual. So bench I'll do like 3 sets of isometric and then 2 sets of like actual reps. And I've seen like a big progression from that.
And no leg days, of course.
I've started doing legs actually because I realized that like people think that you need to do like core to keep your feet on the wall, but it's all in your hamstrings. And so I started doing not like super heavy leg days, but there's this workout that I learned from Luke where you like lay on your back and you like push into like a box with your heel hook, and it kind of like builds up these muscles, which I find are super weak on my legs, especially like the top of my calf behind my knee always gets super tight, and like my butt cheek will get sore. So like I need to get those together because Luke's trying to do paint it black, and there's like this move where it's just your feet pinching like this, like with your toes, and it's my full body length, and like I couldn't walk for like 2 days afterwards because like my butt cheeks were so sore from just doing that move like a few times.
Do you feel like core soreness or anything like that?
No, it was like
because it's like steep.
It was only in my legs. Like it's the most leg intensive boulder I've ever tried, which makes like no sense.
That's weird.
Yeah. It's it's like really physical.
So, actually, just really quick, just rewinding. So we did the 3 prevention ones. Like, what's the 3 things that and you're gonna say, stop climbing, generally.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, like my finger's injured. Like I just need to take it easy. It's like if you pop the pulley or your finger hurts, don't climb because you're only gonna make it worse. Like don't rub it, don't screw with it. It's like put it in something where you can't touch it and like don't mess with it for a week and a half.
So not even like the rubbing, huh?
No, don't, because it makes it worse. Like people are like, oh, I'm warming it up so the blood flows. Nope. All you're doing is just you're ruining it. Like you're breaking up all the cartilage it's rebuilding.
Okay. All right. So paint it black. Any other?
Yeah. What's this crimp move that shut you down that got you psyched on training super hard?
Oh, it was on burned at the stake.
Really?
Well, mostly because I could not do. It's like you do this lock off move to this right hand, and I couldn't hold the right hand like I wanted to, and I would just like fall going to the next move, and I got like dunked for a whole session. And Luke and Jordan did it like pretty casually, and I was like, damn, like I suck, like I suck right now. And I was having like a pretty good season where I've been really trying to like not compete with people anymore because that's kind of how like I got strong to begin with. Is I was like, oh, like, I need to be better than this person, and then I realized that I just hated climbing because of that. And it's like I would see somebody who was like better than me, and like I wouldn't train or do anything, and then I would just be like, oh well, I should just quit because like I suck. So like I moved away from that. I took like a lot of time this season to just like go do climbs that I enjoyed, hang out with my friends, and just enjoy like the process of climbing itself. And it got me back to like why I really enjoy it. So now my psyche is super high because it's like I go to the gym and I just want to climb to climb. I don't want to climb to be like prove that I'm better than everybody else or do anything like that. I just want to like climb for fun.
I feel like you still have like a competitive aspect. Like I like having kind of like somebody that I look at. I'm like, oh, they're a little bit better than me. Like if they can do that, like I should be close to being able to do that.
Yeah.
And having that sort of metric to use, like that's why I climb with Nick, because we're like constant. Like I have, you know, some strengths, he has other strengths, and so it's kind of like a nice balance. And it does get competitive, but I think in like a good way. And you're talking about like
like we would get toxic. Like we would be like we hate each other because of this.
Like who did you hate the most?
Who did I hate the most?
We're all friends.
Except for this person.
Yeah, except for this person. There wasn't anybody that like I hated the most, but the person that pushed me the most was Ben Blackmore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like 2 seasons ago, he was like every other week he was like doing like a 13 like in the park or in Lincoln. Like I don't hike like very long distances because I got little legs.
Yeah, that's what's in there.
So I was like, cool. Like if Ben's gonna do these 8Bs, like I'm gonna go do V14s. And so then I did like Etchel and like Midnight Express and all these other ones.
Well,
And
I think that's good as long as you're in like the right mentality.
Yeah, I think it's good to have competition, like especially climbing with a group of stronger people. It's like when tension came down, it's fun to like climb with each other because like you know that everybody there is strong. It's just like when it gets toxic and like it gets involved in your friendships, that's when you don't want it.
Sure.
Like I've had arguments with friends about things where it's like just ego based, and I hate that like ego basedness. Or people are like, oh well, I won't talk to you because like you don't climb V12. It's like I think that shit's so dumb.
Yeah, and I think that's probably easier than like where we're at. You know, like if you climb, you know, moderates or like up to V10, like I don't think that happens as much. But I feel like if you climb like V13 and up, then
yeah, that's when it gets real competitive.
I think it's like you feel the competition.
Yeah, but a lot of it too is just social media because you're just seeing like people's highlight reels. Like you look at Drew Wanna's highlight reel, he's doing a V14. He did like 2 14s and a 15 in 3 days. And it's like, if you try to compare yourself to that, like, you're never going to compete. But also, like, Drew Wanna goes to school, and he has a lot of time to climb. And he dedicates that time to climbing. It's like, I'm not willing to do that. So, it's just, like, for me, I've really just come to the realize of it's time management. Like, if you want to climb good in hard boulders all the time, like, he's put 50 or 80 days into boulders. Like, I don't have time for that. Like, I got to work. So I'm like a weekend warrior. I do what I can when I can, and I try to do boulders that I enjoy doing.
Nice. Do you have you have those people that kind of light a fire underneath you, the Ben Blackmores and
Noah Wheeler's like that too. I like climbing with
Wheeler.
Noah, but he's just like a freak strong. So it's like it doesn't make any sense how strong he is. Like,
do you have anybody that like when you first came into the gym you were just like, that's what I want to climb like? Like I want to.
Yeah, like when I first came in the gym, it was like Isaiah, Seth. Yeah, Isaiah, Seth, Isaac, and Austin. Like that whole crew, like all the team kids. I'd be like, oh, like those guys are strong, and like I didn't really have any friends in the gym, so I'd want to be like
Isaiah Bradford, Seth Reese.
Yeah,
just for
Isaac Shapoister.
Isaac Shapoister.
That's my boy.
Yeah, that's and you were there when Megan was still competing, right?
Yeah, because her and Austin were training for World Cups, and so like I climbed with them a little bit, but it like I was just so far outclassed that it was like Megan would do things and I'd be like, that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
like that is not fathomable. But so and then
happens to me.
yeah, me too.
no, she's like off the couch like V12 right now.
I know.
Just
I like watch her do slab climbs, and I'm like, she did it in her streets. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, she's crazy.
So yeah, those guys back then were like. That was a crew that I wanted to be in with. And so then like I met Jordan and Jake Pace and like I started climbing with them. And that's kind of when I started getting stronger and stronger. And then like climbing with Chris Canella and Luke was very cool too. So it's like that's kind of like what got me like this, because I was like I was never really afraid to try harder climbs, and they were always climbing hard, and so I just kind of like brought myself to just like kind of ramp up.
That's sweet. Yeah, it's a good crew right now, and Frank's part of the Crusher crew. Luke, Jordan, you. So what are the plans for the future, like V15, V16, like what's on the horizon? We want to hear all the good stuff right now. Like what climb specifically are you psyched to start trying?
Are you like pushing grades in general, or are you just trying to, like,
I think
get
this year
mileage?
is like the first year I'm going to take like pushing myself as far as I can go. So I don't know exactly what like my limit will be. I know that like I've climbed 14s and I felt like these are really hard, but I've always felt like I can do like I could go a little bit farther than this. And so this year I'm like training myself to see like if I can try. Like I've tried things like the game. Like the game is really, really hard. Like Painted Black's really hard for me because I'm like my body isn't the right length that I want it to be. So it's like I'm trying to find a climb that I know will be good for my body type that I can do. And I think there's this climb called Dire Wolf on Sheep's Nose.
How is that?
It's 15. And there's like I've done like the stand start technically, which is 13. Then there's like a middle start, which is 14. And then the sit, which is 15. So
Nice.
I think this season I'm going to go do the 14. And if I do that pretty quick, I'll start working the 15.
Sweet. That's 2023, right?
That's this year, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Defying Gravity. We've
Yeah,
talked about it.
I'm going to try
We've
it.
talked about
I'm
it.
going to try it. I tried it last year, and I was grabbing like the wrong hold. Like I tried to do like Daniel Woods beta, and there's like this like little foot chip, and I was able to like pull myself off the ground and like get my foot up, but I was grabbing the wrong hold, and so I think it's gonna be almost like finding the way to keep my feet on to go to that hold. I think will be the hardest part, but I think that if I can hold this hold and this hold, I got a chance of like maybe just like maybe like holding this swing for like 10 seconds, like 3 seconds.
100%. I feel like if you get into it with a slight bend in your arm,
Yeah,
you'll
because
you'll
like
just
I
run.
can't jump 2 arms. I can only jump 1 arm, and I can hold like a lot of things good like 1 armed. And so
Yeah.
I think that
We know.
if I can grab it and just I'll ride that thing till the wheels fall off too, and then I'll fall off the second dyno like 100 times because that moves so
I was
hard.
gonna ask about the second
Yeah,
dyno for you. 'cause
I've tried the second one like 3 times, and I like get into like the position with the crimps. I thought the crimps were gonna be like these are good. They're not good.
not very good.
And then you just like all out full jump, and so we'll figure that part out later. But if I can do the first one, I'll be satisfied.
I've never been up there, but up on the climb. But it seems like it like kind of curves in and it comes into like a more of like a precise throw.
Yeah, it's kind of like a half moon shape. So it's like this, and then like kind of like that. And so you either gotta like just hold that, and then
Like a smile.
yeah, it is like a smile.
Any trips coming up? Anything that you want to do?
No, I don't have anything planned right now. I'd like to go back to Bishop. I would really like to go back to Bishop. I like got absolutely dumpstered on the swarm last time I went, so I really like to go back and do that. I'm like in like the best crimping shape I think I've ever been right now.
Injury free?
Injury free. Like my fingers feel good, so I just trying to stay that way. And I've kind of taken a break from climbing outside. I think I'm gonna take a break until like seriously climbing outside till March. Like I'll go here and there with my friends, but when it comes to like projecting, I think March to April is gonna be like the season I'm gonna really go for it and see how it works, because it'll be warm and I can't climb in the cold.
How is your relationship with grades now, since you talked about sort of getting away from the toxic like competitive side of things? Like how is it for you to like how's your relationship with pushing your limits now versus back then?
For me now, it's a lot less of like trying to impress other people and more of like trying to just do things that I want to do. Before it was like, oh, like, I need to do this so I can post on Instagram so people can see it. It's like now the only pictures I post on Instagram are pictures that my mom likes. Or she'll be like, can you send me that? And like if she's like, hey, can you send me this picture? Like I'll put it on Instagram because I think it's really cool. But like I don't log my stuff on 8A anymore because like I don't care enough to like put it on there. Like I know what I've done, and
Not even as like a personal.
no, I just don't care. Like I don't care enough to be like, oh, I need to keep a log of the climbs I've done, because it's like I know the climbs that I've done. Like I'm not gonna forget a climb that I've done.
Dude, I forget climbs all the time.
Well, it's like
If you climb long enough.
I think like, you know, like easier stuff. I could definitely be like I think I've done that. I'm pretty sure I've done that, but it's like
Yeah.
like I'm never gonna forget that I did like Tickwill gas or Tiger style. I'll go back and be like, dude, like, I've never done this climb in my life.
No, absolutely.
Like this, I'll never forget that. So
Those are 2 Gaiman climbs.
And what is it like, sort of being underground, but still still being a sponsored rock climber?
I just want to be like Austin. Austin is just like straight up. He's just like the pros pro. It's like if you go somewhere, somebody be like, oh, like that's Austin. And he's like, I don't know who you are, but it's like, thanks. And like, it's not like he like posts stuff on Instagram or like is super famous. He's just like a sponsored rock climber who does whatever he wants. He has fun, and he never has to worry about like, oh, well, I need to do this climb so I can just like appease my sponsors. He's just friends with everybody. So they're like, cool, we like you. Like, join the team. That's kind of how I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And okay, so who is your favorite pro climber?
Oh, Jimmy Webb. That's my dog. That's my dog.
All right, so Jimmy Webb, not even a hesitation.
No, I love him.
And why? Just really quick.
Dude,
why?
it's like he's big and he's just like he's big. He's so big, and but it's like Jimmy Webb because he went from I think that he's all around like the best well-rounded climber on the planet. Like he's done lucid dreaming and he's also done southern draw, which are 2 complete anti-style boulders. Like. He can grab a sloper and just like not move his hand, and he can grab a micro crimp and like just still
yard
do
off
it.
of it.
Yeah, and like some of the stuff he's done in Switzerland, like V60s, like poison the well and stuff. Like that climb looks impossible. Like it's a steep wall, and he just like grabs holds, and he never full crimps ever. He just like grabs a hold and he just like owns it. Like that's what I like to see. Because it's somebody who just grabs shit as hard as they can.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, and
he didn't find gravity the real way, which is gangster as shit. Just like. He yeeted it and then just like held it. And if you watch the video, he doesn't just hold it. Like he hits it with his hand, hits it with his other hand. His body goes completely like an L, and he just like rips the thing in there.
Somebody else did that move too, though, right?
When Austin grabbed it and then did like the turnaround, that's probably the most impressive climb move I've ever seen done on film.
Yeah, no, that's one of the coolest moves, probably ever.
Yeah.
Just that like you hit it and then you swing around. You're like. Looking backwards on the wall. Yeah,
and then
like completely Superman.
And it's so steep and it's so slick like that. I can't fathom.
All right, so I was about to ask you just to kind of wrap up, but so Jimmy Webb is your
that's
favorite,
my dog. I love Jimmy Webb.
Favorite climber of all time. Who's your least favorite climber?
Oh, who's my who do I like?
Don't be scared.
Pro climber or just any climber?
Just pro climber that everybody knows.
John Glassberg.
Shut up.
I don't like John Glassberg.
More than Andra?
I like Andra. Andra's a real one. He might scream like a banshee, but he doesn't like do V10s on top ropes. Man. Which I got an argument with Ty Paul about this. He did this climb called Kentucky Derby on a top rope, and he was like, "Yeah, it's like a really cool V10." He's like, "But I have kids, so I didn't want to like highball it." I was like, "It's like
that's respectable." I have kids. I get it.
I'd rather die.
You'd rather die?
I'd rather die than climb on a top rope and then take V10 for it. I feel like it just opens up like a whole world of like, because now what if you just do lucid dreaming and you tie into a rope and you do the top out because you're scared? Like, can you still just take 15 for it? But you like, hey, I got a dog back home. I can't let him. I can't leave him. So I clip that thing in.
Okay, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Did you like him before?
No, the straw that broke the camel's back was when he was like, as I came down to see Daniel Woods do Return of the Sleepwalker, right after I had done The Nest V15, and he just like continued to make 18 posts in a row at him doing The Nest, which is cool. Like, don't get me wrong, like dude climbed V15 at like 30, however years old he is, but the spray was just like ungodly.
Okay.
I hope he hears this and he's like,
dude,
I fucking hate you too.
He's like, Chase who?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of like out of left field for me. I thought you were gonna say Andre or something like that.
No, Andre's like a real one. Dude's probably the strongest climber in history.
Yeah, it's a little annoying, but
I think you have to.
He's stoked.
Yeah, he's a little too stoked.
In between that and like, what's the dude that free soloed?
Yeah.
It's not Tommy Caldwell. The other one.
Oh, Honnold?
Yeah, he's okay too.
That's another conversation.
I just think that like
That's
that movie
another
went so
conversation.
viral that people are like, "Oh, Alex Honnold's the strongest climber in the world." And I'm like, that dude is
Yeah.
not the strongest climber in the world.
I don't think that's his fault though.
It's
I
not
think
his
that's
fault,
the
but it's
media's
like
fault.
I respect it because dude he was like the first climbing millionaire.
Yeah.
It's like that's business wise, like that's so smart.
Sean-
Sharma might be up there.
Yeah, he's got
For sure.
Hey, Sharma has a new show with Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode last night.
On HBO or is it?
Yeah. It's Megan Martin's there too.
Yeah, Megan Martin.
She's a sweetheart. I met her in real life too. She's really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, she is nice.
Wait, why'd you say it like that?
You know. I think I talked to her once.
Dude, I think we're gonna have to cap it there. You have to go to. Are you going to Roy tonight?
Yeah, and I need to fix my house first. So.
Yeah, his house that's sitting outside. His house on wheels.
All right.
Dirtbag piece of shit here.
All right, Chase. Well, we loved having you. You're our first guest. We freaking love you. Obviously, you're like our freaking family. And we're psyched to see what you do. And we kind of live vicariously through your sins, especially like us, like older guys. We're like, man, we just want to see you do 15. We just want to see you do 16.
I just want to see
And
myself do 15.
like no competition, no jealousy. Like we were just super psyched for you. And yeah, thanks for being on our show.
Anytime, I'd love to come back.
Thanks
This is a
for being
good
number
time.
one, because
You're
you're
welcome,
number
Frank.
one in here.
You're welcome, Frank. Anytime you guys need it.
Cool.
We'll have you back, and yeah, you'll tell us about all.
Have me back
other
at the end of
cool
summer, and
things.
I'll be like, I still haven't done shit.
You're gonna have to rate Shatner sit though next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
B9 gets the upgrade.
All right. There we go.